Very cool. Yeah, I mean that's how I found your account was because I love the name Real Men Do Pilates. Like that's amazing. Like I
Mm,
love it.
thank you.
So yeah, so that's how I found it, and I even feel like I used that hashtag for a long time, like hashtag Real Men Do Pilates. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
tons of male clients forever, and so a lot of guys are like, oh, Pilates is for girls. I'm like, well, you know, and once they try it once, they're like, okay, no,
Mhm.
this is great. So cool.
Yes.
Keep spreading that message to athletes and to guys. You got to get more guys
Yes.
doing controlled movements, you know?
Yes. Exactly. Well, I feel like I'm an ambassador for it. And like you said, like I have seen that you were using it. A lot of people were using it. And I have a
Hmm.
friend who's in marketing, and she's like, I want you to own that hashtag,
Yes.
own that space. So that's why I started
Yeah.
to just throw everything into it so to draw more attention to it. So by no means do I own it, but I like to think that I've got more people thinking about men doing Pilates as
Mhm.
a result of it, right? So
Yeah, yeah, break the stigma of men not doing Pilates. I'm like, when most guys learn about it, they think it's like a dance thing, and I'm like, no, I'm like, he was a German man. Like it was a
yes.
very masculine form of exercise, actually, I find, like between the plank, it's very, upper body weight driven, and anyways, yeah, I could talk about that forever. Basically, I got
Okay.
into the gym because, in high school I didn't play sports. I just was not like, I didn't like catching balls or throwing balls or kicking them, whatever. So my dad was like, you got to do something. So I started going to the gym when I was like 14 years old, 15 years old. And
Okay.
I had a personal trainer, and just so I wouldn't injure myself. And she really became like a mentor for me. And so I used to go to the
Mm,
gym like 3 times a week after school. And so, but before I finished high school, I knew like I'm going to graduate high school. I'm going to become a personal trainer. This is what I want to do. And I said,
yes.
I'm not going to college. I'm going to take this summer to study personal training, and I'm going to move to Miami and be a personal trainer. And like, that's what I wanted to do.
Wow. That's
So I worked at a restaurant, got my certification through International Sports Sciences, and I moved to Miami at 19, and I got Equinox. And Equinox really taught me a lot because they have a great training program,
they do. It's so
even when
comprehensive.
yeah, so comprehensive. And so at that age, like it was just exactly what I needed. So I did my training through them. I went from like a tier 1 trainer to a tier 3 trainer, like within a year, and I was really busy and I loved it. And then someone at Equinox was like, "Oh, you got to try, the new Pilates mat class." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I took it. I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
this is my jam." Because what I love about it is that, like, from the beginning when I started personal training, it was all about like the mind body connection. Like that was always something that was important to me.
Yes.
um and so when I took a Pilates class, I was like, wait, but this is what it's like, for me it's a more intellectual form of exercise. I feel, not that personal training is not, but I just
No,
feel
I
like
know
it's
what
like
you
a
mean.
little bit more monkey see,
But
monkey do, like,
yeah, and
and
this is more mindful, right? Like Pilates is more mindful in that sense.
100%, 100%. And you really like get in touch with your body, and then you're like, wait, this is the muscles that are pulling my shoulders back. Like it really connected more with me. So I got my certification in Pilates, and like I literally never really turned back. And for me, Pilates like completely transformed my body and my mind. And so for me,
Yeah.
it's like the only really exercise I like to do, which is crazy to say, but it's really all I do. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a little bit of my background. That's how I got started, and so yeah, so now I've been teaching, like I said in my story yesterday, Pilates for a while, 14 years, I guess it's been since I've been in the gym. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Very cool. Who is your
yeah.
ideal client? Someone who walked in the door and you would train them for free the rest of your life just because you love what they do, or like what, like who is that ideal person walking into your doors?
Oof. That's so that's like such a hard. I love really working with everybody. Like it is actually something I say all the time, and I really find Pilates is for everybody, because you could be. I've taught 9-year-olds. I've taught
Yeah.
75-year-olds, you know. I work a lot with pregnant women throughout their pregnancy. I mean, my last few clients
Mm.
came in the day of their due date, you
Yes.
know, like literally.
It's
And
crazy, eh?
it's amazing. It's amazing. And I've also worked with athletes, professional athletes, hockey players. And so, like, I really love working with everyone. It's all fun and unique in different ways. I obviously like working with, you
Hmm.
know, strong people like athletes because it's fun, right? I'm like, I love, you know, I don't like to
Right.
use the word torture, but like yeah, I love really pushing people, you know, and you can't
Yes.
obviously do that so much with, you know, pregnant women or elderly
Someone who was due
people, but
yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, especially at Studio House, the studio that I'm opening, my two partners, we all have the same kind of teaching style. We like
Hmm.
mindful movement, but challenging. Like, we don't, you know, you're gonna leave the class sweating and leave the class like, I worked hard and I pushed myself. Like, Pilates is not
Yes.
easy. It's challenging. And so we definitely like to challenge clients for sure.
Yeah. It's almost
Yeah.
like a roundabout way of asking, what is your niche?
Yeah, yeah. I think that is my niche. I think my niche is that it's mindful and it's intelligent form of movement, but it's also challenging because I do find that you often can, and this can go. This is everything, not just Pilates, but I mean, I think this can happen in yoga and pretty
Hmm.
much anything. Is that you go into classes and sometimes it's not challenging enough, you know, and you're like
Yes.
waiting for the next thing to happen and you're like,
Yep.
what is this doing, you know, or
Hmm.
you're talking too much. Like, so
Yes.
I definitely think that my niche is that, you know, it's fun, it's challenging, it's mindful, and it's smart. It's you're not going to get hurt. Like,
Yep.
you won't get hurt coming to. That's like a big thing for me because I've had an injury before, and everything has like an intention behind it. And it's,
Yes.
you know, you're not going to just come in and I'm not just going to have you do planks for 15 minutes, like that's, or lunges for 20. Like, you're here to get a total body full workout, and it's challenging, but it's mindful. I mean, you know, so
Yes.
I think you can have all those things. Like, I think
You
some
can.
people think it could only be hard or it can only be mindful. Like, I think it's like all of those things, you know.
Hmm.
Um so yeah. So
We
yeah.
don't talk a lot about this in Pilates, but I guess, or even in business, mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have mentors in your life still, like you had in this personal trainer when you were just starting out?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, her name is Dana, and she's not on social media, and she's like a mom now, and I don't speak to her as much as I used to, but she really like she inspired me so much to really to take this whole career path. And
Yes.
she made me feel like like such in such a good way that that's what I wanted to transfer onto other people.
Yes.
and and so yeah, I think mentorship is huge and good, and I actually currently don't have one right now. But I've had a few within my life, I think, for sure.
Yes.
But I also hope to be that way for people.
Yeah.
And
You're definitely an
I
inspiration right now.
well, thank you.
Like, yeah,
um,
yeah. That's,
yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I had a couple reach out to me specifically in Montreal in that room, and they were like, I know that room was small, but like it was so intimate, and it was like, you know, and they just have such good memories of it. And one of my
yes.
clients there, she's amazing. She's a Pilates teacher now. She was like, you literally were the reason why, you know. So that,
That's
and that's
amazing.
it's amazing, and that's part of why, you know, we do this too, right? To uplift people and
Yes.
make them feel good about themselves emotionally. Like, for me, it's not just like a physical thing, it's really a mental thing, and an emotional thing too. And it's just to be happy and to feel good about yourself. And it, of course, the benefits of training and looking good are great too, but you know,
Yes.
the real intention is that you feel good, you
You
know,
feel good, like
mentally.
from the inside out.
Yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah.
On the mentoring thing, I think of it in terms of like three levels. Like you have people that you reach up to who are teaching you,
Hmm.
and then you have like your peer mentors, people you kind of bounce stuff off of, and you're kind of growing together. And then you have people that you're
Hmm.
reaching down to help up, like this person who said,
Yeah,
"I want to be a Pilates instructor because
yeah,
you're a Pilates instructor."
yeah,
And I
Yeah.
think that that's another piece that, in this time we can start to reevaluate and say like who really is in my circle? Who am I walking with?
Hmm.
Who can I learn
Hmm.
from? Who can I teach? And who am I walking arm in arm with as I grow this? So I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that, just as we started preparing for today, like it's that's key to help us get there.
100%.
So
Yeah, 100%. I mean, especially like, I mean, it makes me think of, you know, can you hear me?
yes, again, I just turned the
Okay.
comments back on here. I'm
Okay,
sure
good.
some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
wanted to just chime in here.
yeah. Yeah.
So let's see what.
Yeah, you see that a lot though, Martin. Like, pick the crew that you hang out with, and like you want to be surrounded by good people. And of course, 100%. I mean, makes me think about my business partners again. Like they're amazing women. Like we have the same values and goals, and like that's huge. So, and I've
Yes.
had bad partnerships and have,
Yeah.
you know, personally, but also
Mhm.
in business. And it's so important to just surround yourself with people that uplift you and motivate you and push you and all those things. You had been talking about pricing and all that, and
Mhm.
and thank you for bringing that up, because I had, after, like, at first I did like lower pricing, and then when I thought about it, I was like, well, wait, why? Like it's the same service basically. So I reevaluated that. So I have
Yeah.
not lowered the price. so so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still just as smart. I mean, like
No,
you're still
I
getting
know.
the
I know.
same knowledge base
Yeah.
and experience, right? But
For sure. I think there was a
I don't
little
know,
bit of
like
like a panic situation in the beginning, but then once it
absolutely.
started to build, you're like, okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. This is how the bodybuilding world has worked forever, and I feel like the Pilates world is now kind of catching up with them a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, still, there's a huge value in physically going somewhere. I mean,
Yes.
not only does it keep you accountable, but like, my space, our space is like community space. Like my clients come, they hang out, they sit with me after they have tea. Like it's just a different thing.
Mm,
I think it's great to have
yes.
both, but I could never, never, never. I mean, I was even talking about this to like my dad and my friends. I'm like, if this is my permanent situation, like it wouldn't work for me, because I it's too, I mean, it's fun
No.
to do it
Yeah.
sometimes, but like I'm such a hands-on. I'm like the whole time during my Zoom, I'm like, I hope you're doing this okay. Like, are you okay? Like, like you can only see so
Yes.
much. And again, one of my biggest missions is to not injure people. And like, you have all these crazy workouts online, like,
Yes.
but I guarantee you those people will be coming to my Pilates class in years when they hurt their shoulder, and then they realize that controlled movement
Right.
and smart movement
Right.
is a better way to go. We actually called it a little bit before everybody else did, because we were supposed to open up on a Monday. We sent out the email on a Thursday about our pre-sale, getting everybody in on Monday, and then on Friday we sent out another email saying like, just kidding, we're gonna hold off with everything going on.
Right.
We don't want to open at this time. Like, let's just wait a little bit. And then by Sunday, all the studios in New York City closed, every gym, every studio. So we
Yes.
were a few days ahead of the curve, but good thing we did. Good thing we made that call.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how, going back into real life, how this all works out. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think it's definitely gonna change the fitness industry, especially those classes that got 30, 40 people on a spin bike. Like, I don't know how many people are gonna want to rush to that class.
Yes.
But
That's the question, really.
yeah.
Like, what is that going to look like after? Because, like, like, will you have like how big were your general mat classes?
So we don't offer, well, we offer Matt. That's wrong. We are a reformer studio. So we
Hmm.
have um five group five reformers for our group classes, which is small. It's very small and intimate. We didn't want to
Yes.
be a studio that had 15 reformers like you see in New York City and packing. That's not our goal. Our goal is to have intimate space, where everyone's welcome. You know, it's more for the client than it is for us. And so we have 5 reformers, and then we have a back room, which is a private area, which we have another reformer chair, blah blah blah. And we can also convert that into a mat room. So we could put the reformer to the side, put the chair to the side, and then we can have a mat class, which that fits 8 people. And one of my
Mhm.
partners, Rachel, she also teaches yoga. So we're going to be teaching yoga there, some mat Pilates. But again, our space is small and intimate, and our reformers are spread out. We have like one of our biggest things is like when we do leg circles or arm circles, I don't want to touch my neighbor. And that sounds crazy,
Right.
maybe in Toronto, but like in New York City, they pack you in like sardines, and like you can't even really do a lot of this stuff that you want to do on the reformer. So we
Yes.
made we made sure we have plenty of space. In fact, I believe we have 6 feet in between each reformer.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if we don't, we're gonna make it that way. But yeah, we just want everyone to have their space, their own personal space, and so I think we'll be fine. We may need to do more privates in the beginning, which is fine.
Mhm.
But we'll see. But it should be interesting to see how this transforms, and yeah.
Yeah. I love your resilience. I used that on our my post earlier about you, just hearing your story and just how you're handling these situations and stuff. Resilience is the word that comes to mind.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep trying. I mean, I got a tattoo on the side of my ribs. It's 3 triangles, and it stands for passion, persistence, and patience. And like
Mm,
those are the 3 main words: passion, persistence, and patience. Like if you just
yes.
stick to that, I mean, and you have to be passionate about what you do too to really want to persist, you know. And so I have that, and I'm lucky for
Yes.
that and grateful for that. So